The things the CMC are not allowed to do in school. The author spent a day on this because quarantine sucks. Cheerily sighed, trudging through the halls sleepily. The bell was gonna ring in less than an hour, and her workday would begin, and she would patiently teach several dozen children for her entire day. She loved them, she really did, but if they didn't take a lot out of her. She stayed up for hours every night grading papers, she was constantly putting up with helicopter parents, and at the end of each day she barely had any money to show for it. At this point, she was beginning to sympathize with Tennessee Ford. Still, it wasn't all that bad. She genuinely loved most of her students. She enjoyed teaching and spreading knowledge, and occasionally she got a laugh from her students. She smiled, pulling a list several papers long from her saddlebags, and began pinning each one to the bulletin board facing the front doors, directly in sight of those who entered.
The things the CMC are not allowed to do at school.
The list wasn't even for discipline purposes. She just wanted a record of every dumb thing that they'd done.
1. The official CMC motto may be whatever you want it to be, but you may not shout it in class if it includes the words necrophiliac, genocide, bukkake, and femdom. Number 2. Ferris Bueller is not a role model. Number 3. Neither is Edward Elric. However, Alphonse Elric is. Number 4. You may not yell, "Move it, background ponies," in order to get to classes faster. Number 5. You may not throw other students through the mirror portal to see what they turn into. Number 6. When running for student president, your posters may not depict other students in any form or situation. Meat grinders. Claims that you are endorsed by the princesses. Claims you are endorsed by Faust. Claims that those who say you are not endorsed by the princesses or Faust are class traitors. Claims that this list is more what you'd call guidelines than actual rules. And close-ups of any pony's plots, but especially the princesses. Number 7. None of you are allowed to run for student president. Number 8. Countering detention slips by giving the teacher your own handmade detention slips will no longer work. 9. Neither will Uno reverse cards or go to jail cards. Number 10. You may not slowly do the Macarena during moments of silence, nor may you ask why this is a rule. Number 11. You may not toss a sword at students in the library and attempt to duel them. Number 12. You may not refer to Discord in person or in any artistic depiction as Dr. Moreau's dildo. 13. The following may not be brought to show and tell. Chimeras, the corpses of your parents, stuffed rabbits, Jesus vs. Santa, Watership Down, a tape of the music video for Born Free, and a tape of the music video for Come to Daddy. Number 14. You may not encourage communism in students. Number 15. CMC can stand for whatever you like, but you may not shout it in class if it stands for Cheerily must croak, Capitalism must crumble, Crush my clitoris, Clap my kalami with the C's pronounced as S's, Circumcise me cap'n. 16. When sex ed is announced to be in session, you may not give bedroom eyes to any students named Edward. 17. You may not accuse teachers of war crimes. Number 18. You may not trick students or faculty into asking who Joe is. 19. You may not attempt to convince students or faculty that they were born humans and mysteriously teleported to this dimension, and they need to find their parents through the mirror portal. 20. You may not run casinos in class. 21. You may not refuse classwork under the pretense that you had your brain drained by aliens, you're gay, you have dumb bitch disease, you're not a smart pony, you died years ago and the teacher needs to let go and be at peace, you're a changeling, you've resolved to cut toxic influences out of your life, and it violates your religious beliefs. 22. You may not dress up as Persona characters and assault students. Shin Megami Tensei characters are still Persona characters. 23. You may not Beyblade battle your teacher for a better grade. 24. When confronted with CCTV evidence that you violated a school rule, you may not attempt to get them arrested for possession of child pornography or on the pretense that you were naked when it happened. 25. You may not airdrop the music video from Mr. Blue Sky to epileptic students, or Baby I'm Yours. 26. You may not ship students or faculty. 27. While there is technically no rule against it in dress code, the following still may not be worn: fursuits, flesh suits, plague doctor masks, model Gundam suits, mannequin faces, ball gags, and diamond tiara face paint. 28. You may not use throwing stars in class. 29. You may not adopt students or faculty and insist that mother knows best. Please give up custody of me, Sweetie Belle. 30. You may not adopt random changelings off the street. 31. You may not scribble out every instance of CMC in this list and replace it with Diamond Tiara. 32. You may not ask yourself, what would Rainbow Dash do when faced with any situation? 33. The safety dance is not a fire safety protocol. 34. When writing book reports, you may not refer to anything as old as balls unless you can back up that claim. 35. Trust me on this one, bro, is not a cited source. 36. You may not play Megalovania over the school intercom. 37. I was purposefully going the wrong way to find better items is not an excuse for being late. 38. I've learned it's better living in the moment. Enjoy youth because it doesn't last is not an excuse for violating these rules. 39. You may not feed smaller students to carnivorous students. 40. You may not refer to faculty as any of the following: mom, dad, cum slut, dat boy, bruh, bofa, comrade, mortal, honey, government spy, or Shrek. 41. You may not sell Poison Joke as lovely jubbly love petals. 42. You may not put Oreo cream in a toothpaste tube and eat it in front of the students or faculty. 43. You may not paint sleeping zebra students to be one color. 44. You may not declare random students to be your arch nemesis and or rival. 45. You may not use Neric students as flamethrowers to kill spiders. 46. You may not give Diamond Dog students copies of Fallout Equestria. Or Griffin the Griffin. I didn't think I had to clarify that one, but the same goes for letting them listen to Diamond Dogs. 47. Dodgeballs are the only acceptable projectiles during dodgeball. 48. You may not attempt to convince students that there are forbidden cutie marks you can unlock by doing inane tasks. 49. You may not convince the entire school to paint themselves to look like one single student. I thought it was funny though. 50. You may not do Mr. Mackey impressions while reading morning announcements. 51. You may not attempt to convince lunch ladies to let you put your hooves in the lettuce. 52. You may not defend wrong answers with, I know more about American Girl dolls than you. Even if you do. 53. You may not attempt to fight the principal for better teacher pay. Even if we are underpaid. 54. The following may not be used as payments for schoolyard bets: souls, houses, sandwiches of those not involved in the bet, kidneys, and your place in class when negotiating with changeling students. 55. You may not attempt to replicate moves seen in Dragon Ball Z on students or faculty. 56. You may not floss during class. The dance. Please go back to flossing your teeth. 57. You may not teach students tax evasion. 58. You may not attempt to convince students that there is a school rule that forbids leaving the building during fires. 59. You may not claim any figures from history class are dummy thick, especially if they are still alive and live in this town. Twilight was on the floor laughing. 60. You may not begin book reports with "Be me." 61. You may not attempt to recreate episodes of Totally Spies or Powerpuff Girls in class. 62. You may not call other students gay for telling teachers when you break a rule. However, you may call them snitches. 63. You may not perform the following songs at school talent shows: Milkshake, I Sit Down When I Pee, Words, 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 Little Girls, The Bad Touch, and any song you sing in a goofy impression. 64. You may only write your own name on papers. You are not Diana, Princess of Wales. 65. You may not announce your arrival in class with a Team Rocket motto. 66. You may no longer pay marching bands to follow students or faculty. 67. You may not play air raid sirens in class. 68. You may not bring chickens to parent-teacher conferences and claim you're their child. Scootaloo. 69. You may not threaten to build another, better school next door with blackjack and hookers. 70. You may not try to convince other students that there's a secret 19th story. This school is 1 story tall. I really don't know where you 3 were going with that one, but I was afraid. 71. You may not call warriors role-playing sessions during recess. There are still students hospitalized from Twisted Betrayal of ThunderClan. 72. You may not cross out succeed on motivational posters and replace them with succeed. 73. You may not replace motivational posters with Soviet propaganda. 74. You may not unionize the lunch ladies. 75. You may not tamper with student or faculty files in any way. This includes changing your own names. Example, Scootaloo. Writing that 2 students or staff members are married. Changing anyone's species to simp. Writing down schoolwork as an allergy. Writing down yes in the sex blank. Changing anybody's grades to spell bazinga. And writing down chunk in the weight blank. 76. You may not declare yourself non-binary to stand up first when classes are being dismissed by gender. 77. You may not convince other students to break these rules in your place for the vine. Or at all. 78. You may not flush anything down the toilet that is not a waste. Diamond Tiara does not count as waste, although I respect your reasoning. 79. You may not refer to Chrysalis as your waifu in book reports, nor Sombra as your husbando, although I do agree. 80. Nice cock bro is not a formal greeting. 81. You may not hide Bluetooth speakers in the classroom to play bass-boosted hello sounds. 82. You may not play pumped up kicks in school under any circumstances. 83. You may not attempt to convince students that kissing each other is a germ-free substitute to shaking hooves. 84. You may not refer to changeling students as Vriskakin. 85. You may not refer to any Blackford students as Mary Sues or Edgelords. 86. You may not try to convince other students that Pegasi are ground up for lunch food. 87. You may not tell other students that fetish is a fancy word for crush. 3 students have come up to me and admitted they had a fetish for me. 88. You may not substitute the word suck my toe for Sokotoa when showing your work on math equations, or Scootaloo. 89. You may not sell Scootaloo's feathers as phoenix nouns. 90. You may not claim that the teachers are flirting with you when confronted about late work. 91. You may not attempt to convince other students that peanut butter is a bad word and the proper term is busted nut cream. 92. You may not attempt to film your own episodes of Jackass with other students. 93. When guiding new students, you may not refer to them as D-classes. 94. Lord of the Flies breakdowns and betrayals traditionally happen after days separated from society, not 20 seconds after the teacher leaves. 95. You may not convince the entire class to put in the lines to fuck shit stack as Kahoot nicknames and purposefully fail questions so the final leaderboard has the song in order. Although, I was very impressed. 96. You may not send any memes you deem spicy to your teachers. 97. You may not remind staff members that their designation consists of 2 synonyms for male genitalia. 98. While I agree that it is very condescending for a teacher to refer to any of you as son, that still does not give you the right to call him daddy. You may also not tell him to be gentle daddy when he hands back failed assignments, or dominate me daddy when he's reprimanding you. 99. Apples are not a religion. You may not declare anything that inconveniences you as blasphemous to the almighty apple. 100. You may not write book reports in the first person as the antagonist. And 101. We require more minerals is not an excuse for not doing your homework. Cheerily.
Well, seems like they were at work when it comes to memes. Jeez. I think they beat most of us in how many memes that they have done in comparison to us. Maybe. Anyway, I'd love to give a very special thank you to my memester donators. Yoshi Super Saiyan 2, Peter Coulthard, Dash of Evergreen, Dresdon, Dospo, RuneScythe 9852, CourierCruz CI, Rainbow Dash 1990, Dwight Cornel, Gagi, Secret Moon, ORIAN KAIJU, Starlight Glimmer, David D. Sanchez, Trey, Pokekiller Zach, Soul Dragon, Dak Britton, Joe Pierce E, and Reno. Thank you all very much for watching this video, and I will see you all in the next one.